Hello guys, welcome to my channel, and in this video we are going to see what is DATEADD and parallel period function in DAX, and we will also see how to use these functions inside Power BI and what all the differences are there between these functions. So for that we have an business use case. So let us assume that we have an electronic store data set. So for that, the store manager is asking us to give a comparison of 2025 sales with 2024. So we will see how to shift the dates for doing this calculation, and we will also see how to use this DATEADD and other time intelligence functions in this video. So let's start. So now I am inside Power BI. So we will start by DATEADD function. So DATEADD function, which is one of the most useful time intelligence function, which helps to shift the dates front and back. So for example, if you see this table, I have filtered this table for these 2 years and for quarter two. So here I have my total sales at first. So this is nothing but a normal sum of sales, which gives me the sales for each month. And then I have my DATEADD measure here. So what is exactly doing in my table? So I have used my DATEADD function to calculate the total sales of a previous year. So if you take 2024 April for this quarter two, my DATEADD function will go back to 2023 sales of April, and it will bring me the value here. So it generally shift the dates to the previous year and get me the total sales. So if you see for April month, we have the 2023 April value, and same for May, we have the 2023 May sales, and same it happened for June. So this DATEADD function, which takes a particular date as an input. So here we have the date in our filter context, and from taking that particular date as an input, I am asking my DATEADD function to go back to the previous year and do the calculation. So in this way, I can use my DATEADD function to do any time intelligence calculations. So now we will see how to create this measure. So for that, I will create a new measure here, and I will call this as DATEADD. So I'm going to use my calculate function, which helps me to do any operation. So in this, I'm going to use my total sales measure, so that this will calculate my total sales. So inside my filter field, I'm going to use my date add function. So if you see the syntax, it takes a particular date column, and I'm going to use my date column here. And then it asks for the intervals to move the dates. For example, we can move it by -1, or we can move it by just 1. So in this case, I'm going to move my year to previous year. So I will give it as -1. So next, this interval field, which is most important for this function, because this asks for an interval which we want to move it front or back. So I'm going to give it as year. So since I want to move my date to previous year, so I will close this function. So I'll bring this in the table. So now you can see that how this DATEADD function, which helps to shift the dates for doing the calculations. So I can also do this by month level. For example, let me change my DATEADD function uh, to calculate the previous month. So now you can see that my DATEADD function, which calculates the total sales of a previous month. So for Feb, you can see the sales of Jan. So you can see it very clearly that for each month, it calculates the previous month sales here. So this is how DATEADD function which works inside the report. So now let's see what is parallel period function in DAX. So if you see this table, I have added my parallel period measure here, and you can see the difference very clearly. So how this parallel period works? So DATEADD function, which takes a particular date as an input, and it shifts the interval with respect to that particular date. So my parallel period function, which takes a particular date as an input, but it does not care about the input date. It only shift the interval with respect to that date. So meaning that if you see in this table for the month of April and 2024, my DATEADD function, which takes that input date and it moves back to the same period. For example, it gives me the total sales of 2023 April month. So in this way, my DATEADD function, which moves the interval by exactly the given date. But if you see my parallel period function for April 2024, it just calculates the overall sales of 2023 and it gives me for each month. So this is the main difference which happens inside a parallel period function. So if I'm not filtering the quarter, you can see it very clearly. So here my DATEADD function, which goes back to the previous year for the same period and gives me the sales. So my parallel period function, which goes back to previous year and it calculates the total sales of 2023 and it gives me the result for each month. So this is how my parallel period function, which differs from my DATEADD function. So let us see how this measure is created here. So this is very similar to my DATEADD function. So inside calculate, I'm using my parallel period function. So you can also see the syntax here. So it also takes a date column and I'm going to move this by -1 and by the interval year. So this helps me to calculate the sales of a previous year. So this is how my parallel period function which are used inside the report. And I can also change my interval to month here so that it will calculate the total sales of previous month. So now you can see here this parallel period function which gives me the total sales of previous month. And this is how these time intelligence functions are used for the calculations. So I hope these functions are clear to you, and thanks for watching this video.